Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be joined by Kathy Calhoun, who is the Director of Operations for the State of New York, the Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Conservation, Basil Segos. We have Major General Anthony German with us, who is the Commissioner of the Division of Military and Naval Affairs, Broom County Executive Jason Garner, Tyogga County Legislative Chair Martha Sowerby, Senator Fred Akshar, and a member of the Assembly Donna Lapardo, who are obviously my colleagues from Albany, and New York State Police Captain Jeffrey Van Auken. As everybody knows, it is raining. Mother Nature keeps changing her pitch a little bit. This is a little different than what we've seen before. These are flash floods, but they're very intense cells that can drop a large amount of water in a very short period of time. So we've had significant issues across the state, and issues in areas that frankly don't normally flood because of the intensity of these cells. We are fully deployed in terms of preparation. I want to thank the National Guard, which always does an outstanding job. They are out and they are ready and they are deployed. We've learned the lesson the hard way from past storms and past floodings. We now pre-deploy equipment and personnel in anticipation of a problem. And that's what we've done here. We have pumps, we have vehicles, we have generators, we have everything that you could need. We have Department of Transportation trucks, Department of Environmental Conservation boats and equipment. So if a situation arises, we're prepared to handle it and handle it quickly. Obviously, we've handled a number of floods in the past, and we are prepared and equipped to do it again. One lesson we've learned repeatedly: the best way to deal with a problem is to prevent it. So for local town supervisors, villages, mayors, county executives, if you know that you have a problem with a creek or a culvert that is prone to flood, if you need an area cleared to move a large amount of water, it is better to tell us now, tell us before the fact. We have the equipment, and I'd rather do the work before we have a problem. And we rely on the local expertise to tell us that. We have the state resources, but we need the local officials to tell us and anticipate where there might be a problem so we can go address it. Right now, as we stand here, we don't see any immediate circumstances that require immediate attention besides the town of Conklin. I'm going to be visiting it with County Executive Garner right after this visit. But I want the local officials to be aware. Also, people have a tendency not to want to leave their homes. I understand that tendency. You want to stay home. You feel safe in your home. Your home can be the most dangerous place to be. And when local officials either mandate an evacuation or suggest an evacuation, it should be taken seriously. When you wait, it can be too late. I just came from a situation in Seneca County where it became very dangerous very quickly. There was an area of homes where people chose to remain in place. The flooding started. The fire department went into the area. The flooding then got so bad that the fire department couldn't get back out with their vehicles. And the fire department is literally stranded in an area, and we're bringing in excavators and boats to now evacuate the people, and heavy equipment to clear the debris from the road because it's impassable. So much debris, frankly, that it will be hours before that road is anywhere near passable. and then we have to see if there's a road left once we move all the debris. So people need to be prudent and especially prudent. The area that was flooded that we were just in hadn't seen a flood since 1940 of this magnitude. So these flash floods are a little different. We understand flooding from the Susquehanna, and it tends to flood in certain areas. But that's why I say this is a different pitch from Mother Nature. And it causes problems in areas that haven't seen it before. So not only do we need the local officials to be prudent, but we also need individuals and citizens to be exercising diligence. I'm declaring a state of emergency in a number of counties that have been affected or we anticipate may be affected. We're looking at more rain, more possible flash flooding throughout today. The weather for tomorrow is still unclear, but the ground is saturated, the creeks are filled, there is no capacity to handle any more rain. And what's happening is when we have one of these flash floods, it immediately turns into a problematic situation because we've had so much rain, there's no place for it to go. But we're declaring a state of emergency in Broome, Chemung, Shenango, Cortland, Delaware, Monroe, Onondaga, Ontario, Schuyler, Seneca, Steuben, Tyogga, Wayne, Yates, and contiguous counties through August 21st. Again, in those areas in particular, local officials, please anticipate problems and let us know how we can help before the fact. Citizens, extra diligence is required. The first responder are always the people in your own home, and you have the first responsibility for your safety. I want to thank the county executive and the supervisor who've been doing a very good job in the partnership. I want to thank Senator Akshar and Assembly Member Donald Lapardo, who have been great partners. We've been through too many situations like this. And again, we're prepared, but diligence, we're here to help, but we need the anticipation of local officials, and we need every citizen to do their part. With that, I will turn it over to County Executive Jason Garner, and then you'll hear from Chairperson Sowerby. Jason?
Thank you, Governor Cuomo, for being here and for everything you are doing to help Broome County overcome this extreme bout of weather. From the very beginning, I'm going to tell you this governor and his team have been in communication with us and offered us full support. Right from the get-go, we're getting phone calls from the state asking, what can we do? What can we do? How can we assist you? And with the support of Governor Cuomo and the great team we have with our state partners right behind me, we are taking action together to protect our residents and ensure a full recovery here in Broome County. I want to give you an update on this active response, and we're in an active response right now. There's significant flash flooding across Broome County. We opened the EOC this morning. We declared a state of emergency at 10 a.m. Our biggest issues are in Conklin, Kirkwood, and Vestal. At the last time we checked, we have over 30 road closures. I'm asking Broome County residents to go to the county website. We are updating that throughout the day on the road closures. We have many active evacuations in Conklin and Vestal. A particular concern is the town of Conklin. They have issued a mandatory evacuation for the Fountain Blue Mobile Park. That is going to affect about 75 to 100 mobile homes with a shelter at the Donnelly School. Shelters are open in Vestal, Colesville, and Conklin. We really want to thank the Red Cross for all the work they've done with that. And to echo the governor, we need local residents to listen to the emergency responders. They are the professionals out there. We are in a very active response mode. Sometimes minutes or even seconds can be critical when you're talking about life-threatening events. So we are imploring residents to listen to the first responders. So at this point, I just want to thank the governor for his leadership and for stepping up for all of our communities, not just in Broome County, but in the southern tier and throughout New York. And I want to thank all of our first responders who are working tirelessly right now, round the clock, to keep our residents safe. Again, I just want to echo this, and I can't say it enough. I urge Broom County residents to drive with extreme care and stay safe in these very difficult conditions. Thank you, and at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Tyogga County Legislative Chair Marty Sauberry.
Thanks, Jason. Unfortunately, this is all too familiar and experienced for us in the Southern Tier. Governor, thank you for being here and for all your help as we prepare for this and the recovery efforts. Governor, you've constantly stepped up to help us in the face of extreme weather events, whether it be snow or rain. It's invaluable to have the state support behind us, yourself, the Senate, the Assembly, in these difficult times. In Tyogga County, we are doing a little better, knock on wood, and hoping the weather will stay, mostly the creeks along the Pennsylvania Avenue or Pennsylvania border. That would be the Wappasining in Nichols, New York, and the Appalachian Creek in Appalachia, New York. They have been just overflowing, but the word just a few minutes ago is we seem to think they're cresting, so if the rain stays away, we're good there. We will be prepared, and it is important to be prepared. And in Tyogga County, as you may all remember, we've seen firsthand, time and time again, the devastation that can come with extreme weather. And nothing, though, is more important than the safety of our residents. So we're all working together with the state to prepare everybody and make them aware of the situation, and we're working with local partners to try to protect everyone and all the communities. So thank you, Governor, for all your support and for your team here today. We are stronger in Tyogga County, know that you've got our back, that you're going to be there if we need you, and we are ready to call when we have help, when we need help. So, and I do want to take this opportunity to talk to all the residents in Tyogga County and encourage them to be watchful. Listen to your local media and pay attention, because it's your life you're talking about, and we care very much about what happens to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator, Assemblywoman, anything to add? With that, any questions you have for myself, any of my colleagues? County Exec?
It's affected in the town of Conklin. There's an area called the Fountain Blue Mobile Park. 75 to 100 mobile homes are affected, and it's a mandatory evacuation. So there's active water rescues happening right now at that park. You know, work with first responders. Follow the directions that these are the guys and girls that train, men and women that train every day for this. And certainly in Broom County, you know, we've been used to this. But so our first responders are the professionals. They've been tried and tested. My continual message to residents is when you see a first responder and they give you a directive, you follow that directive, because that's going to save your life.
A lot of people were evacuated this morning. At this point, will there be more evacuations? What is the status there?
Right now, as we speak, there's active evacuations. We have water boats that are actively evacuating people.
Governor, can you clarify for the people at home this designation of a state of emergency? What does this do? I know it kind of frees up resources or allows you to mobilize different units. For the people at home, what does this declaration do?
What a state of emergency does is it gives us additional flexibility and additional powers to deploy state resources, basically. So if we need to move equipment from one part of the state to the other part of the state, if we need private sector help, if we have to get a contracting company, an excavating company to bring in heavy equipment, it gives us the flexibility to do that. And it's also a designation that says to the people in that community, pay attention and beware. And on the question before about people crossing train tracks. You know, when you decide to stay in place, shelter in place, stay in your home, and again, I understand the instinct. That's your home. Those are your possessions. You don't want to leave it. There's a natural feeling of safety in the home. But it comes a point when leaving is really dangerous. As I mentioned, I was just at a location. The street was dry. Fire department went in. 2 hours later, there was rushing water waist deep that was rushing so fast that frankly was dangerous to just try to walk through because you couldn't even keep your balance. That's how fast a situation can become really dangerous. And if you're in your home and you have children, etc., it's not worth the risk. It is just not worth the risk. And people repeatedly do it. And then we have to send out first responders and boats, etc., and then it gets more dangerous. When you have the damage that you have from a flood, you have power lines down. So there can be many additional hazards that you run into. I know that people think, well, the government people are just being overcautious. Really, we're not, you know. And if anything, it's experience where you've seen situations get very bad very quickly. And we've seen loss of life. We've all been through it, and I've been through it too many times. So we want to learn the lessons from the past, and we'll do everything we can, but we need people to act responsibly also. I also want to thank the senator and the assembly member. What you see here today is what we call a deployment site for state resources, stockpile. This did not exist a few years ago. It did not exist the first time I was in Binghamton for a flood from the Susquehanna, and we were scrambling. If you need, once you get into an emergency situation, if you don't have what you need, it's too late. So the legislature worked with us. We put together stockpiles all across the state. So we have the equipment we need before the fact. So you see the generators, you see the lights, you see the sandbag equipment. We have the vehicles, we can transport vehicles. We have the boats, we have the swift water rescue equipment, and we've done the training, and we've worked in training and in partnership with our local partners, the local police. So we are better equipped than we have ever been. Mother Nature has been more active in terms of emergency situations, flooding, hurricanes, etc., and we have increased our preparedness. But you still need, A, that partnership with the local officials who know best and they're on the ground, and B, citizens to be smart and diligent and to respond before it's too late. Respond before it's too late. Okay, thank you very much.